Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today's episode of Industry Pathology, I want to kind of follow up what I talked about last week when I brought up the different mediums, and most people want to go just one-to-one consulting, maybe workshops, but they're very limited in their different revenue streams. But I want to expound on that, talk about something in business called blue ocean and red ocean strategy. So I won't get too deep into the business side, but I'll give a general overview of what each is and how it applies to the mental performance industry and how you can go about implementing a blue ocean strategy yourself. Now, red ocean is more the typical route that businesses operate in. So this means you're selling or doing services that fall more in line with the industry standard. For example, let's use a different industry outside of mental performance, such as, say, cars. If you look at the car industry for over 100 years, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, these have been some of the major movers, and still to this day, they still make a lot of money in the industry and have the market share. Now, the things that differentiate each car isn't necessarily some crazy or out the box features. It's more so the efficiency of putting in the good marketing, making sure sales are high, and keep putting out product, which could be the cars or different aspects of the car each year to compete with everyone else. This is why it's called the red ocean. Everyone's trying to push their product. Everyone's trying to put out ads to get you to buy their cars. So you're fighting over this bloody ocean that's very murky, and it's hard to really get a foothold in there because there's so many other sharks or fish that you have to compete with. Now, on the other side of the spectrum is the blue ocean strategy. Now, blue ocean, as suggested by the other analogy, it's a lot clearer. There's not a lot of fish, not a lot of sharks, not a lot of fighting. Now, using the same car concept, you can look at something like Tesla. Now, electric cars, Tesla wasn't the first one, but it definitely took the market. And from a branding standpoint, it's probably considered one of the best or biggest companies in that wheelhouse. Now, the thing about each strategy, there's ups and downs to both. So let's go back to red ocean. Red ocean works because you already understand how to build that business. You put out good sales, get good marketing, really push the products and features. In this case, in the mental performance, that's having a one-on-one service and getting your credentials, and basically you go off of that and you try to market yourself amongst different audiences and try to build your business from there. Pretty straightforward, but guess what? Everyone who calls himself a mental coach or has a CMPC or whatever they're doing in that industry, that's who you're fighting with. And it's a lot of them. Trust me, I know. I've been in this over a decade. Now, on the other side, the blue ocean strategy, this is coming up with like apps, maybe different content ideas, things that are going to be outside the box to generate revenue to make you a differentiator in your industry. Now, me and Mind Body One, my company has been able to do that. Now, it's not without lack of trying or failure because there's a lot of things that didn't work. I've made ebooks, I've made videos, I've made content, I made apps, I've made courses, I've done music, I've done so many different things under the sun. But that's what makes us different and unique. And that makes us stand out. But the downside of that with blue ocean, while it's good to separate yourself, is a lot more education for you to get them to understand what you're trying to do. And to this day, I still have issues with people saying, what does Mind Body One truly do? And to answer the question, we do everything. Not everything as in everything, but everything as in we touch a lot of different bases, a lot of different demographics, and we implement our services in a way that most people aren't. For example, I'll give you a perfect takeaway from our blue ocean strategy that we have. Our cognitive performance oftentimes gets segmented as its own thing, but in actuality, it's just a vehicle to implement our mental skills training. I'll show you. So we have numerous athletes that we work with, or even technical populations, where we'll do dynamic drills where it simulates their sport or simulate their demographic using general cognitive skills. Some require movement, agility. Some require the tools from their sport, or if it's tactical, guns. And then within that, we'll get the actual measurable scores or results to be able to quantify them. But at the same time, we can use mental skills to say what was going on through your mind. So we indirectly become a mental coaching session via the vehicle of implementing a practical cognitive strategy that is not done anywhere else. And I can guarantee that because I create all of these apps myself. So that's why Blue Ocean strategy is very good. But how do you do that? So blue ocean is not as simple as it sounds. Like I said, that wasn't just something overnight. I spent years of learning my craft, being a student of this industry, learning other industries. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways if you want to be good in the blue ocean sector. You have to learn other industries. You have to understand why certain businesses do what they do, other concepts. Like I understand computer science, engineering to a small degree, but it's enough that it makes me understand what most mental coaches would not. If I said to someone who has their CMPC, more than likely 99% of them would not understand how to build what I've built. And that's what makes us different. So you have to figure it out that too. Let's say, for example, you have a background in music. I think this is a good example because I've done it myself and I know some other people have done this. If you know how to play an instrument and or write music, sing, produce music, and we know that mental performance can be enhanced by music, why haven't you made some kind of app or just some kind of playlist even that you made from your music yourself or got other artists that you are collaborating with and have that as a service and or something that can be purchased as like a mixtape, as someone would do the same thing for just general music, right? People going to listen to music anyway. So why haven't you woven that into your services or offerings for your company? That's Blue Ocean. Now, that's just an example. Now, let's say something else. Let's say you're a fitness background. I know a lot of people in our industry have a fitness background. I've mentored a few of them. I've had people applied who also are strength coaches, and they kind of go hand in hand because when you talk about performance, you can't have the physical without the mental. That's my body one, right? So why not come up with a more niche service and or product that targets, say, powerlifters? Let's use that example. I've worked with powerlifters and I've done mental coaching for powerlifters as well as strength and conditioning, and sometimes both. Now, if you're getting ready for a meet or a big lift, there's a lot of things mentally you can help with there. So why not create maybe a page or two, uh, ebook or even some kind of like pamphlet that could be either free, low tier, entry level, or even 5.99, something cheap that gets the buy-in. Not necessarily just doing consults. Maybe they don't want consults, but it's something that you can get to a bunch of different lifters. Say there's tens of thousands of lifters at these competitions throughout the country a year. That's 10,000 potential new customers that you would not get from a typical console. So swimming that blue ocean is great because you don't have a lot of people fighting with you. But the problem is, since you're all alone, use that, run with that analogy. If you're all alone, it's hard to get other people on board. And I'm still dealing with myself. But the beauty is, once you can find it and start swimming with that wave, it'll definitely get you where you need to be. So I want you to think about this as far as creating your own blue ocean strategy. Take as little as you can from the mental performance industry because follow me now. That's going to be there no matter what. People talk about the visualization. Like when I looked for my mentoring program, almost everyone sent me the same. This is visualization. We have all that. It's not going anywhere. So that's why people think I'm trying to dismiss it. No, I'm just saying we already have it. Why don't you go somewhere where that could be applied in a different way? Make it illustrated in a way where it's more applicable and it exemplifies strengths that you may have that most other people can't do. Because I'm being real, this is me going from definite experience in my critique on our industry. That red ocean that everyone's fighting in, unless you're working for an organization, is not going to work in the business world. I can guarantee that. You have to find something to separate yourself from everybody. And most aren't doing that. The people who are working under me that I'm trying to bring up, I'm trying to get them to understand that. Some get it, some not so much, and that's cool. Not everyone will be on board. But I guarantee you, if you can navigate that blue ocean, find those waters and sail and swim through them, you'll definitely get where you need to be. So that's just an overview. Like I said, blue ocean, there's books on it. There's the actual economists and business people who created the concept. Read more about that. But basically, the concept itself is you separating yourself and having a different approach than everyone else. While it separates you, it makes it lonely and hard to get people on board. Once you do, it's all yours. Thanks for tuning in. That's my pathology.